Orbiter X. Episode 5, Inside the Moon Station. Colonel Kent and his staff at the headquarters of the Commonwealth Space Project Woomera are unaware that their plans to assemble the space station known as Orbiter X are being sabotaged by an organization called Unity, led by Max Kramer. Unity is ahead of the world in space travel and has already established a base on the moon. Kramer, Captain Bob Britton, Mac McClelland and flight engineer Hicks are aboard a Unity ship which is heading towards the base. It makes a crash landing in quicksands in the lunar plain of Wargentin, but Kramer is confident that a rescue party will arrive quickly. Meanwhile, at Woomera, where all ships are grounded, Colonel Kent is asking Sir Charles Day, Minister of Astronautics, for permission to launch an unmanned moon probe. He's interrupted by a control officer who announces that no fewer than 10 tracking stations have reported an unidentified ship flying into the Wargentin area, which is near the rim of the moon in its third quadrant.
Sir Charles, a moment ago you said it would be foolish to take any unnecessary risks for no immediate reason. Now we have that reason. So can I have permission to launch the probe?
I don't want to be difficult, Kent, but what practical purpose will it serve?
The projectile can be aimed at the area where the UFO landed. Its TV cameras may or may not send us back pictures. That depends on the interference level. But there's a good chance that its film cameras will bring us back some very interesting material.
Yes, but we don't want any diplomatic complications. This UFO, or UFO as you call it, must surely be a Russian or American rocket of some sort.
We'll check with the UN Space Department. If it is, we might consider ourselves fortunate. But if this object, which has just been sighted, is a genuine UFO belonging to no country on Earth, then it follows that our boys were not alone in space when they met with disaster. They could have been attacked.
Yes, I suppose it is just possible.
I'll get onto the Space Department now. But if my theories are correct, there is still one ray of hope. Britain and his colleagues may not be entombed in their derelict ships out there in orbit. They may be still alive, but under what circumstances and in whose hands, heaven alone knows.
The temperature in the cabin's getting a bit trying, Bob.
Yes, Mac. The ship's in the full glare of the sun. And that dust bowl outside is like an oven. Kramer, is there anything we can do to step up the cooling plant?
No. The main generators are wrecked, and we are already overloading the batteries. There is no more power available.
We'll have to be getting out of here soon anyway. Look through the observation port, Bob. The dust's beginning to settle, and you can see what the situation is now.
Yes. Quicksands are doing their work. The ship's tail section's entirely buried. We must get out of the airlock before that's swallowed up too.
We'd better move fast.
Yes, collect your gear, check spacesuits, and bring all the reserve air bottles you can carry.
Aye.
Okay, sir.
You know, ever since I was a kid, I've dreamed of landing on the moon.
Yeah, but not this way, Mac.
No, never like this.
Hello? What's going on?
The ship's moving.
Yes, it's turning over. We've got to get out.
Open the airlock. Now close your helmets, all of you. Turn on helmet intercom.
Jump to it, boys. In quickly. Come on, I'm after you.
Bob. Okay, Bob.
Okay. All in, Kramer.
Open the air valve.
The ship's toppled over from the vertical into an almost horizontal position.
Yes, and it's listing on this side, just where we want to get out.
Pressure 0. Open the outer hatch.
Everybody out, quickly, before the lock fills up with sand.
Another half a minute and we'd have been trapped.
Yes. You all okay?
Yes.
We're all right, Bob.
Climb up further, onto the highest part of the hull.
Can't see a thing through this dust. Maybe it's just as well.
Yes. What's happened to your rescue party from the moon base, Kramer? How far they've got to come?
I estimate the distance about 60 miles. They should be here any moment.
How are they traveling?
By hover car. It is not unlike the so-called saucer, which was developed in England.
But that travels on air cushions. There's no air for the lifting jets here.
We substitute electrically charged atoms.
You mean you've developed ionic jets?
Exactly. They lift the machine just clear of the ground, whatever the nature of the surface may be.
I suppose the thrust doesn't have to be very strong to offset the moon's gravity.
Hover car calling Unity leader.
There they are.
Well, thank goodness for that.
This is Neeson speaking. Are you receiving me?
Hello, Neeson. Yes, I'm receiving you on my helmet intercom. You are most welcome. What is your distance from us and your speed?
We are closing with you at 1,000 yards. Speed 50 knots.
Have you got our position?
Yes, I am watching you on the scanner. Hold on. Beware of my jets as I move in.
I understand.
Range closing. 700 yards.
And we still can't see him.
Captain Britton,
Yes?
you heard Commander Neeson's warning about the jets. When he comes alongside, the blast could sweep you away. Wait for instructions before you jump aboard.
Right. We'll lie flat. Down you get, Mac. You too, Hickey.
Okay. The ship won't last long now. See how the sand's creeping up on us?
Yes. The rescue party's just about made it in time.
Bob, I can see something moving through the dust.
Here.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Crom, I never thought I'd be pleased to see any friends of yours. I certainly am now.
Quiet.
Hello, Unity leader. I am about to come alongside. I shall cut the lifting jets for 5 seconds.
Understood. Britton, McClelland, Hicks, during that 5 seconds you may jump onto the hover car. If you miss your footing, you will be lost. The jets must restart immediately, or the machine will be trapped in the sand.
Okay, I get it.
Fair enough.
Here she comes.
The Grace Darling. Looking more like a flying saucer than a blooming lifeboat.
Keep down. I can feel the blast. She's coming alongside.
Hello. Stand by to jump aboard. I am cutting the jets now. Right. Jump.
Here we come!
Now we are entering a canyon which leads into the Unity crater and our moon headquarters.
And just look at those cliffs on either side of us. They must go up a couple of 1,000 feet.
And although the sun's shining on the tops of them, it would be pitch dark down here without the searchlight in front of the hover car.
I wouldn't like to be lost around these parts.
Neither would I.
We're coming out into the crater. Gosh, it's enormous. Stretches as far as you can see.
Actually, it is comparatively small, but distances are deceptive because of the sharp curvature of the moon's surface. We are now turning and following the line of the cliffs.
I say, Bob,
Yes, Hickey.
if you look back across the crater, you just get a glimpse of the tip of the Earth. It's right down on the horizon.
Yes. Earthset.
That is as much as we ever see of it here, because we are in the libration area on the rim of the moon. From other locations, the Earth appears to be some 12 times the size of the moon as you see it from home.
That's a lot more attractive than this countryside. Give me the Highlands any day.
Yes. This is a dead world. Mountains, craters, and dust. How long have you been here, Neeson?
I have been in charge of the moon base for almost a year.
Aren't you fed up with it?
No, I live for my work.
How many people have you got on your staff here, Cromer?
Not enough. That is why we are always ready to welcome new workers.
Ah, I see.
Our base is built inside that cliff wall there, now directly in front of us. The square opening at the foot leads to the airlock.
Well, there's not much to see from here.
Wait till you're inside.
Is this where we stop?
Yes, we enter the lock on foot. Step out and follow me.
Talk about being as light as a feather. How'd you like to play a game of lunar cricket, Bob? You could throw the ball miles.
It'd certainly be interesting.
You will enter the airlock, please.
Come on, in we go, Hickey.
When our pioneers arrived here, this, of course, was an open entrance to the cave system, which has become our headquarters.
What's the composition of the air that's being pumped in?
Normal, except that we substitute helium for nitrogen. As you know, it is less ready to gasify the blood under sudden decompression.
Quite. How much oxygen do you allow each man for a day?
I aim at 3.5 pounds, but we recover about 80% from exhaled carbon dioxide.
Pressure normal. The inner hatch is opening. You may now dispense with your helmets.
The air smells good.
Yes, it is. And by the way, the sound you can hear is the solar generating plant.
I see.
And now, Captain Britton, since we arrived here on the moon, you have all behaved sensibly. You appear to understand your position. You are utterly dependent upon Unity for your continued existence. Even the air which you are breathing is supplied by us. Escape is impossible. I therefore expect your cooperation.
All right. We'll accept orders within reason, but we still owe our allegiance to CSP. Is that clear?
Perfectly.
You understand, Mac?
Yes, Bob.
You too, Hickey?
Aye, sir.
Good.
Good. I am glad we understand one another. And now you may be interested to see something of our work. Come with me. I will realize that everything here is on a reduced scale. But first we'll look into the control room.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Lieutenant.
Glad to see you, sir.
Thank you. Anything to report?
Yes, Commander Gelben is prepared to take off from the Earth headquarters with a relief ship. He is waiting for your instructions.
I will speak to him later.
Yes, sir.
As you see, Britain, we have everything here which is necessary to the handling of our ships. Visual monitors, radio control, beam approach, interference transmitter, and so on. Come with me.
Well, it's quite a setup.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
I want you to see what we have achieved on our comparatively slender resources. You will realize that when we have formed the world government, there will be no limit to our scientific progress.
What's that I can hear?
Drilling operations, we are opening up a new gallery. Now, this is the air conditioning room. I'm sure it will interest you as future Orbiter X officers. The pumps are extracting stale air from the headquarters and circulating it through cooling pipes. First, the water content is frozen out and separated, then the carbon dioxide. So we are left with clean oxygen and helium, which are returned for use.
Yes, and you're getting oxygen from the chlorella plants in the illuminated water tanks.
Yes, but the main object is to harvest the plants themselves and process them for food. When the sun is in a suitable position, they are exposed to its light by opening the shutters. What on earth is this?
What's happened?
Stay here. We'll soon know.
Explosion in the drilling tunnel, sir. There are 5 men trapped in there.
And what could have caused this?
Probably an escape of gas. You said that the moon was a dead world, but that is not entirely correct when you dig below the surface.
Has anything like this happened before?
Yes, once.
Were there any survivors?
No. And it is unlikely that there are any now.
But you'll organize a rescue party?
We shall see.
Dr. Kramer, I have just looked through the airlock. The tunnel is completely blocked. I'm afraid the men are trapped. Their position is hopeless.
There's nothing we can do. Get back to your post.
Kramer, aren't you going to try and help those men?
They are almost certainly beyond our help, and I'm not prepared to risk more lives. Our numbers are too small.
But you just can't leave them.
It's no concern of yours.
I swear you're wrong. Some of the victims might still be alive.
Yes, I wonder. You would like to help them,
Yes, whether they're Unitists or not, they're human beings.
Very well. I have endeavored to meet you on all points. You shall be the rescue party.
All right?
I should not like to be thought inhuman. Neeson, take Captain Britton and his friends down to the tunnel. See them safely through the airlock.
must say it seems pretty hopeless, Bob. The tunnel's blocked good and proper.
Yes, it certainly is.
It's not going to be easy. Working in spacesuits.
There's no help for it, I'm afraid. The pressure's almost down to nothing. There must be an air leak through to the outside surface.
Yeah, that's why they've installed the airlock here. Safety precaution.
Exactly. Kramer's too wily to be caught by explosive decompression. Without that lock, the whole HQ would have been vacuumized. All right, chaps, start working.
Hello. I found a small gap in the debris here.
Where, Mac?
If we can open it up, we might be able to squeeze through. There could be somebody on the other side.
Right.
Mind out. There it goes.
That's fine. Let me shine my torch through.
What can you see?
I can see that the tunnel continues on the other side of this fall. That's about all.
Hello. Somebody's coming through the lock.
Keeping an eye on us, I suppose.
Hello, Captain Britton.
Yes, what is it?
Dr. Kramer wishes to see you in the control room.
Oh, what for?
I cannot say. My instructions are to take you there immediately.
All right. Carry on, boys, but don't kill yourselves. I better see what this is all about.
Ah, Britton. How is your rescue work proceeding?
Oh, you've hardly started yet. But you didn't bring me here to ask me that, did you?
No. I want you to tell me what you know about certain activities at Woomera.
What are you getting at?
Neeson, stand away from the monitor screen. Now, Captain Britton, what do you see?
No.
Ah, you recognize it.
Well, it's obvious what it is.
Yes. A moon probe. Our Earth headquarters inform us that it was launched from Woomera, and according to our calculations, it should reach this area in another 6 hours precisely.
So what?
Tell me, will it land or will it go into orbit and then return to the Earth?
I don't know.
Don't fence with me, Britton. As a senior pilot, you know perfectly well what this projectile is designed to do.
Well, it could land or it could orbit, you know that.
Quite. But assuming that it does land, which seems most probable, judging by the design, what is its program of operations?
Oh, why ask me? You'll probably find out for yourselves.
We certainly shall. Because we intend to recover the projectile and bring it back here by hover car, in sections if necessary. And incidentally, the hover car can be perfectly screened from observers on the Earth.
I was wondering about that.
And with the projectile safely in our workshops, you, with your expert knowledge, can help us to dismantle it completely.
We shall see.
I shall tolerate no nonsense. Machines such as this provide us with a valuable source of materials and components.
But how do you hope to find the thing when it lands?
It is transmitting a most convenient signal, which will doubtless be familiar to you. Littman, turn up sound.
Yes, sir.
Now, listen. Our hover car simply homes on that after the landing.
Yes, but your interference transmitter isn't working yet. When you switch it on, surely it'll swamp these signals?
No, we shall still be able to pick them up at short range. All right, Littman, you can cut sound.
You seem to have everything worked out nicely.
I think we have. Now go back to your good work. There's just one more point.
Well,
For the sake of your friends, I hope you will help us.
what do you mean?
Think it over. All right, Littman, take Captain Britton back to the tunnel.
Yes, sir. This way, Captain Britton.
So that's the position, chaps. And I hate the idea of Kramer getting hold of the moon probe. It's rather a nice piece of machinery. It's still classified.
I don't think Hickey knows very much about it, Bob.
No, I don't, as a matter of fact.
Well, Hickey, the idea is the rocket carries a small tractor. After the landing, the tractor comes out and travels around on the surface of the moon for about 12 hours.
See.
It carries film and television cameras. It picks up samples of soil and rock.
And at the same time, instruments record cosmic radiation, temperatures, ultraviolet, and so on.
Well, I did hear a whisper that it was in production, but isn't it steered from the Earth through the television link?
Yes, but if that breaks down, it feels its way along and avoids obstructions in very soft ground.
And then, Hickey, when it's done its job, it toddles back to the parent ship. The action of it going aboard triggers off the rocket, and the whole issue returns to the Earth.
Do you think it'll work?
I'm sure it would, if Kramer didn't fool around with it. I saw the thing under construction, and it's a masterpiece of engineering.
It certainly is. And it's got tremendous possibilities because without the tractor, the rocket could take a cabin big enough to carry 2 or 3 men.
Yes. Say that again, Mac.
George, yes. It could carry us back to the Earth.
Are you serious,
I
Mac?
was never more serious in my life.
I can't believe it. This is our answer. It's our only chance.
But how do we get out of here? We can't go back.
I'll show you. Follow me. We've got a surprise for you. I haven't had a chance to tell you about this yet. We've opened the gap in this stuff. You can see through it. Look.
I don't see a thing.
Over to the right, sir.
Daylight.
Yes, it's a crack in the wall. It must go straight through the cliffs.
And if we widen it up, we can get through into the open.
By golly, a break at last. Would be quite close to the spot where they parked the hover car.
That's right. And all we got to do is to grab it and get going. I know how it works. I watched Neeson pretty closely when he was bringing us here.
Hold your horses, chaps. Now, let's think. The moon probe isn't pressurized.
We'd have to rely on our spacesuits.
What about oxygen?
There's cylinders of the stuff on the hover car.
Yes, that's true. We could take some with us. But can we stand the takeoff acceleration of the rocket, Mac?
Sure. It's far less than we're used to in takeoffs from Woomera. We might be a bit uncomfortable when we get into the Earth's atmosphere, but the rocket has a good cooling system to protect the gear.
That sounds like a piece of cake.
Don't talk too soon, Hickey. We've got to stay here in the tunnel until just before the probe lands. During that time, we must take it in turns to give the unitists progress reports. We know the poor devils who are trapped here are finished, but as far as Kramer and Neeson are concerned, we haven't given up hope.
Okay, Bob.
Within the next 5 hours or so, we gotta hack our way through that wall. Once outside, we sprint over to the hover car, drive off, hell for leather.
And as there's only one hover car, the unitists can't follow us.
No. Once we're aboard, we're halfway home.
Moon probe bearing TK7HX54. It's well inside the moon's gravity pool now, Sir Charles.
Still no interference?
No,
How does that fit into your theories?
it doesn't yet, but I'm certain that we shall lose the picture on the monitors. The interference is bound to begin any moment now.
In the meantime, the probe's sending us some magnificent TV pictures of the moon's surface. Just look at the great ray crater of Tycho. Do you see how the walls rise in terraces? It's almost dazzling.
Sir Charles, look at the picture.
Yes, I'm looking.
You see those ripples creeping across it?
Yes.
It's the same interference pattern we've seen before. Now, sound gone, vision going.
So you were right, Kent.
Yes, the interference is being generated. It must be the work of somebody or something.
But what's at the back of it?
I don't know, but I won't rest until I find the answer.
Neeson, I want to know where the projectile will land. Give me the information quickly.
Right, Dr. Kramer. I am feeding the details into the computer now.
The CSP people seem to have produced a rather successful machine. It's behaved very well. I shall be most interested to see what they put into it.
According to our calculations, if it holds to its present course, it will land very close to us.
Where?
About 40 miles to the north.
Almost on the fringe of Argentine. I wonder why. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Oh, Letman, have you checked the interference transmitter?
Yes, sir. It is quite in order. Dr. Kramer!
What is it?
I am looking at the time figures. The projectile is slightly ahead of schedule.
How far ahead?
Approximately 15 minutes.
Very well. Go and prepare the hover car. I'll join you shortly. Then we can set out towards the predicted landing zone before our Woomera visitor arrives.
This is a tougher job than we thought.
Yes. Keep going, Hickey. We're almost through.
We should see the hover car as soon as we get this last bit of rock out of the way. Trouble is, the sweat keeps running into my eyes.
Okay, Mac, I'll take over.
Thanks, old boy. We must remember to localize our intercom before we go out. We're screened while we're in here, but we don't want to broadcast our conversation when we get outside.
Okay, Mac.
Yes, Mac. How's the time going?
The projectile's due to land in about half an hour.
And your heads.
Nice work, Bob. Last barrier's down.
Right. Out we go. Straight for the hover car. And watch your cables.
Right, I'm coming.
Hold it! Oh, no!
What is it?
The hover car. It's taking off.
Too late! Cram has beaten us to it!
So ends the 5th episode of Orbiter X, an adventure in the conquest of space by B.D. Chapman. It was produced for the BBC by Charles Maxwell.